chart with some shaky lines drawn. Pre-market buzz and the futures were on. First couple trades hit clean right out the gate. Man, I knew it was on. Couple broke traders in a Discord call, yelling this one's it, watch the candles all stacking wins, didn't think we'd fall, just riding that wave too long. And we spent what little bit of money we had on cheap commissions and a risky plan. Click, buy fast, don't think, just act. If you're lucky you can catch and run her to the top of the map, where the whole damn screen turns green like magic. Every ticker hitting nothing looking tragic. Feels like right now, even though that was 1,400 green trades ago. Spending what little bit of money we had, turned it into stacks we never had. Go load it up, let it ride like that. Don't look back, just double the stack. Where the market guys do their damage, every play hitting, yeah, we planned it. Feels like right now, even though that was 1,500 green days ago. Woke up late, but the chart still ran. Didn't even need a backup plan. Every dip got bought like clockwork, man. We couldn't lose. I ain't lose. Hit a fast mover on a low flow play. Hit a hawk, came back double same day. Turn one into 10 in a single trade. Yeah, you know that's the truth. Damn, you know it. Still spending what little bit of money we had. Now it's margin calls, we ain't scared to add. Click, buy fast, don't think, just act. If you're lucky you can catch it running through the ceiling like that, where the whole damn screen turns green like magic. Every ticker hitting nothing looking tragic. Feels like yesterday, even though that was 1,600 green days ago. Spending what little bit of money we had, turned it into stacks we ain't never had. Go load it up, let it ride like that. Don't look back, just double the stack. Where the market guys do their damage, every play hitting, yeah, we planned it. Feels like right now, even though that was 1,500 green days ago.
Oh, brother, oh, brother, oh, brother. Welcome back to another episode of the Matt Kohrs Show, where I love the smell of tacos in the morning. It is a beautiful Wednesday, April the 8th, and the equities market is up big. Bitcoin, actually, really every risk-on thing is up big. Volatility down, oil down, and it's all because of the tacos we were cooking up late last night, where if you guys maybe missed the news, there's a bit of a taco situation that came to fruition in Iran, and basically now the world has accepted the fact that this is no longer a risk we have to care about. Is it right? Is it wrong? I don't know. All I can tell you is price structure, price momentum, and options flow is up, and away, which is exactly why I am rocking the army green shirt today to celebrate the massive green we are seeing in the market. And I hope many of you in chat caught this move overnight, because it is a monster move. Actually, before we really get rocking, before I show you guys what's going on, what's not going on, how many of you guys did catch this overnight in one way or another? Did you catch it in futures long? Maybe you were shorting oil. Did you catch it at the money calls or some form of calls? Were you selling puts? How many of you are like really particularly stoked for the market to open in 25 minutes and see how much your accounts are up? Because I have a sneaky suspicion that there is a lot of green going on today. I have a sneaky suspicion that there is quite a bit of green going on right now. Shorting oil, calls, buy and hold. I caught the knife. Silver price was rocking, was long, pound here. Congrats all of you. Like legitimately a massive congrats. So Obviously, some things to go over for us today. I'm going to be breaking down what was said, what wasn't said. I'm actually currently in a position, so I'm kind of watching that. I'll just show you guys what I'm doing right here. As you can see, I'm trading my FFN accounts, I'm trading my Tradeify accounts, I'm trading my Legend accounts, and I'm trading my Take Profit. Half of these accounts are funded. Half of these accounts are evals. The 7PVs, aka the FFNs, like that's the Funded Futures Network, these are funded, and my goal for the day is to make, that's too much, around 900, because if I'm able to lock in $900 here on 7PV, 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 I will secure another $10,000 payout. All I have to do is just, you know what, we'll make it the nice 43,905, a little bit of slippage there. So the 7PVs that the firm is Funded Futures Network, FFM, looking at my consistency rules, looking at my net liquidation, my goal is exclusively 900 buckaroos, because then that will officially secure another $10,000 payout. Similarly, if I'm able to hit that $900, I will actually then pass all of these funded accounts on Tradeify. So these are all funded. And once again, if I hit 43, that'll be a nice, hey, like, congrats, you passed the test type of a thing. These Legends accounts right now on the screen, those are funded accounts, and I can make up to 3K on those today. So they have a little bit of a larger room with respect to consistency. So I'm trading them as well. I'm trading those ones a little bit bigger. I'm trading 2 contracts. I'm trying to lock in one at 40, stops already at break even, and then if this locks in at 40, I'll just have the runner, and hopefully the runner runs. And then on Take Profit, these are actually evals as well, so I'm able to get up to like 4 or 4.5K on those to see if I could pass those today. So once again, just to be completely transparent with all of you, I'm trading 5, 10, 15, 20, 10 are funded, 10 are evals, and I am on the precipice. I am this close to getting another $10,000 payout, and honestly, we might be able to witness it. I just need to hit 43. The 7PVs right here, another 10K to my name if we can just get that pop. Obviously, I'm not risking anything at this point. The stop is at break even. So the best case scenario is I secure a $10,000 payout and I pass the Tradeifys, and the worst case scenario is literally nothing. It's just a stop at break even. So I caught this trade a little bit earlier on in the day. I was in it around 8:33. I was in the Discord explaining what I was seeing. So once again, if you want to trade with me, mentor with me, or just kind of trade with a cool group of people, that's exactly what the Goonie Trading Discord is for. Once again, GoonieTrading.com, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. Why am I bullish? Well, because everything is telling me to be bullish. The S&P 500 was break even yesterday and is currently up 2.7% in pre-market trading. The NASDAQ was break even yesterday, gaining 3.6% in pre-market trading. Oil is down 18%. Oil plummeting from 112 a barrel to 92 a barrel, and Bitcoin is just ripping, going from 68 up to 72, and it does look like it has strong momentum. And probably the final thing we should check in here is volatility. Volatility concluding the day yesterday at 26, all the way down to 20. It is down 21%. And shout out to Spot Gamma. They were actually doing some research on this. This is the second largest volatility drop in the last 4 decades. The second largest drop in vol in a one-day movement in the last 4 decades. How freaking crazy is that? And it's all because of the taco situation. Dow futures jump over 1,000 points. Oil tumbles after Trump suspends Iran attacks for 2 weeks. So basically, taco traders currently, they're singing this little tune right here.
You getting mad?
This is all the taco traders. This is all the taco traders, which actually seems to be a lot of you in chat, because you're just singing to yourself, this is all of you this morning. This is all of you. All right, so what actually happened? right here, the day Trump's Iran threat gripped the world. In posting that a whole civilization would die if no deal was struck, the president sparked a frantic global guessing game over his real intentions. If you ask me, this is incredibly dramatic from the Wall Street Journal. I do think this was poor game theory from the president's standpoint. I don't think at any point he was actually going to wipe out an entire civilization, but he did threaten it. And I think this just was a very, very clear taco situation where just the chances of it were extremely low. So to all of you who made those shrewd bets of saying, you know what, I'm just going to get in, I'm going to get in now and rip it, you deserve it. You took a risk and it paid off. And seriously, a massive, massive congrats. U.S. and Iran agree to a ceasefire, easing fears of energy crisis. Trump and Iran agree to a 2-week ceasefire, plan to open the strait, and we don't have the exact details on, okay, is it ripping now? Who's paying the tolls? Who gets the split of the tolls? There's still many, many unknowns, but as you can tell from the market's reaction, it's just assuming that everything is pretty much bullish at this moment in time. So here is the big update, and this came yesterday. Hang on one quick second. This came yesterday. Donald J. Trump. This is on his True Social. I do implore you to check this out. I do implore you to set up your notifications here because when the market's moving, it's a good chance that it's one of these things. Based on conversations with the PM of Pakistan and wherein they requested that I hold off on the destructive force being sent tonight on Iran and subject of the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to complete, immediate, and safe opening of the strait, I agree to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. So there you have it. You can read the rest, but that's the main thing that came out last night around 6:30, and people kind of knew this was happening beforehand, and it just caused the futures market to absolutely rip. So the market closed here, reopened at 6, and it was just off to the races, like absolute just mooning of a situation. So nice gap up, didn't even take a chance to really revisit. We got the announcement at 6:30, got the downside gap fill and then some, cleaned up the chart, and then just took off. Yesterday NQ was at 24,400. We are 800 points higher. 800 points higher. So clearly the market is stoked about all of this. Obviously, this was the official statement from Iran. To me, this is kind of a big deal because over the past couple weeks, every time Trump says something or the military, from the U.S. military apparatus makes an update, not too long after, Iran says, no, we're not talking. That's not true. This time around, you can see it on the screen yourself that Iran's like, okay, yeah, no, we actually do agree with this. We are making some legitimate progress. So it's quote unquote getting confirmed. And then as you can see, media and the market just started running with this like no other.
Let's get back to our top story with Mona Yacoubian, who's the Senior Advisor of the Middle East Program at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Mona, first off, just give me your kind of first reaction to this ceasefire. Are you hopeful, optimistic? Are you cautious as to how this is going to play out?
Well, very cautious, but also hopeful that we're not where we feared we could be, which was really falling into the abyss of uncontrolled escalation. Things were really, looking pretty serious.
The fact that anyone thought that was really going to happen,
where the conflict
it's so
could
silly.
Go. And so in that regard, of course,
That's not
this is
Becky.
a welcome reprieve. But I think a lot is going to have to be, learned in the 24 hours because really both the U.S. and Iran are spinning this in a way and sort of in a way calling
Welcome
victory.
To the game of
and
politics.
Yet there are some significant differences, and the one that I would point out that is most significant is the Iranians saying they will allow free passage for the next 2 weeks through the Strait of Hormuz, but in coordination with Iran's armed forces. If the U.S. agrees to that is a huge concession to Iran.
Fair. Valid point. But how long
There's
will
a lot
it last?
of uncertainty. Some of it is also around what happens with the Iranian proxies as well, right? There was a statement saying that Lebanon would be part of this. How easy is it going to be to negotiate the proxy activity into such a deal? And how aligned would Israel be in terms of the cessation of hostilities?
Well, the word coming out of the White House this evening is that the Israelis are absolutely respecting this ceasefire. However, I've heard no mention of Lebanon, and so it could well be that Lebanon is on its own trajectory, and it would frankly surprise me significantly if the Israelis stand down on their offensive in Lebanon. So my fear is that that will continue. I think what we may have avoided in the short term is the possibility of other proxies, namely the Houthis, getting involved. And there was concern that if the escalation continued on the path that it was on, you could see the Houthis jump in and work to block the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, the other key choke point in the region there. And that would have had an even more significant effect on energy market disruption.
Mona, ahead of this call.
All right, gonna pause that there. That's kind of the key point of some of the details of like, all right, we're in this like awkward 2-week period of what's happening with the strait. What are the exact details? And unfortunately, it's all kind of murky right now. Clearly, the market is running with this all being a good thing, but just to do my job and be completely honest with you, there are still a clear amount of unknowns in this situation. So obviously, even though things are very, very green, don't be surprised if across the board we generically see whipsaw in one way or the other, because of the fact of you might get random updates of, okay, they are going to continue to use their military to escort ships through, or maybe the fees are higher. Who's going to be splitting the fees? What's happening with the Houthis and Hezbollah and these other somewhat militant groups sponsored by Iran? Like, there are a lot of unknowns, like, and that's like kind of the nuance of the story, but the headlines are obviously, hey, we took care of these problems. Okay, so this is from this morning. So all those updates were basically last night, right when the futures market reopened around 6:30 is when we got those updates. And as of this morning, right here, this is from Donald J. Trump. A big day for world peace. Iran wants it to happen, and they had enough. Likewise, so as everyone else. The U.S. will be helping with the traffic buildup in the strait. There will be lots of positive action. Big money will be made. Iran can start the reconstruction process. We'll be loading up with supplies of all kinds and just hanging around in order to make sure that everything goes well. I feel confident that it will. Just like we are experiencing in the U.S., this could be the golden era of the Middle East. So kind of interesting that we were just slinging the bombs and now we are the ones helping clean it up. So bit of, I guess, interesting positive news there. JD Vance was talking this morning. JD Vance calls Iran's ceasefire a fragile truce and says Trump is impatient to make progress. So he was a little bit more of a negative Nancy on the whole situation. But regardless, the end result as of now is oil plunges below 95 after Iran agrees to safe passage through the strait during the ceasefire. Once again, the SPY is up 2.6%. The Nasdaq's up 3.5%. Oil is down 18%, and volatility is down 21%, and Bitcoin is up 1.25%. So across the board, risk on is back on. And the question is, will it hold? Trump says he may be joint U.S.-Iran venture for the tolls. So this was another update from this morning, just kind of highlighting the point that we do not have all the answers of what's happening, of what's not happening here. So maybe we're going to get involved in these tolls, but then maybe for the first 2 weeks, there are no tolls. So lots of questions still need to be answered. The U.S. will work closely with Iran, which we have determined has gone through to be very productive regime change. There will be no enrichment of uranium, and the U.S. will, while working with Iran, dig up and remove all of the deeply buried B-2 bomber nuclear dust. It is now and has been under very exacting satellite surveillance, aka Space Force. Nothing has been touched from the date of the attack. We are and will be talking to tariff and sanction relief with Iran. Many of the 15 points have already been agreed to. Thank you for your attention on this matter. And then also, last but not least, any country supplying military weapons to Iran will immediately be tariffed, and on any and all goods sold to the U.S., 50% effective immediately. Once again, this was all updates as of this morning, about 12 hours after the fact, 13 hours after the fact, saying, hey, if you are supplying with them with weapons, we are not dealing with that. So back to the whole tariff situation, something to pay attention to. Trump's Iran war leaves the U.S. looking weakened to adversaries. Before I play this, I would deeply appreciate your thoughts on that particular statement. Do you think the way this played out does make, I want to be clear here, is the U.S. actually weak? Clearly not. We have the strongest military in the world. And if we wanted to, obviously, we can make Iran, the entire, I guess, population, landmass, disappear overnight. I have no counter statements to that. We have the strongest military in the world. That's not what I'm asking about. I'm asking about perception. Do you think that the way this played out made us look weak? And more specifically, this comment of, hey, like, whatever. Like I guess what I'm seeing and like why I'm really asking you this is because of everything that we saw as it relates to this whole concept of, did he taco out? Like this idea of, does President Trump's words really hold any power? Because you're going from threatening an entire genocide of a country to then being like, oh, okay, no, never mind. Like, first of all, I want to make this clear. I understand we could pull that off. I'm not talking about the actual like measurement of U.S. military strength. I'm fully well aware that we could do that. I'm talking about perception. And it looks like I just got knocked out for break even. That's a bit of a bummer.
Order
yeah,
filled.
I'm getting knocked out for break even.
Order canceled.
We're dropping a little bit here. So once again, break even trade. So I was trying to get that where I needed it to be. Unfortunately, we were about 6 points shy of the exact value I needed. So break even trade on the day, whatever. No sweat off my back. Ceasefire. Okay, wait, what were you guys saying? U.S. is not weak at all. USA is a joke, taco always. That's what I'm saying is like, okay, first of all, I know the military is not weak by any stretch of the imagination, but the perception of it is that now that Trump does taco, the perception is that he talks this big game and then all of a sudden he just backs out. Hence why everyone is talking about this entire taco concept. And obviously you might be able to argue, well, hang on, man, maybe we should wait and see how the negotiations actually go. We should see like who is really going to win in the negotiation. So I think it's really, really tough at this moment in time to say, okay, like who actually won this? Obviously, from a military standpoint, we're stronger than Iran and we're stronger than everyone. But the way media and social media and probably other world leaders are looking at this is, okay, Trump's threats they don't hold much water because he was threatening genocide, which is a crazy thing because if he followed through with it, well, then we're just the big bully on the block committing war crimes. And then if we don't follow through with it, well, we just look weak. So I feel like from a game theory standpoint, it was really, really just not well played, which is kind of abnormal because I think if Trump is good at one thing, he does seem to have a good understanding of game theory. And in my opinion, he kind of fumbled the ball on this particular one. So anyway, I wanted to ask you that, and then obviously here's some of the mainstream media opinions on it.
Al, I do wonder, how is the shipping industry reacting to this news this morning?
It's much along the lines of how you just summarised it. I think there's a lot of caution. What is this ceasefire exactly? How agreed is it? Are all the parts of it? There are so many things that are kind of unclear. If you look at the 10-point plan that Iran is supposedly putting forward, there seem to be different kind of demands that we're seeing. So what's the actual detail of the plan? And then, do you want to be the first wildebeest in the river to check if there are crocodiles? So that's, if you're looking at the other guy and saying, you're going to go first, no, you, and see, build up some confidence. And one of the things that people are saying to us this morning is they need to see others go first and see how the kind of the safety looks in practical terms when you start to see transits, and then they'll take a view. So it's a kind of a chicken and egg situation. And the same goes for insurance even. That's going to be, if this becomes a normalised situation, the first step is, or one of the key steps is going to be insurance.
6 minutes till the market opens.
The very first one probably going to charge quite high prices, and then you'll find a more kind of appropriate market level as you understand the risk. So all of these kind of things are a chicken and egg process to just try and sort of figure out how safe it really is, and that's where we're at right now.
It's interesting when you look at the shipping stocks in Europe this morning. You've got Hapag-Lloyd up 5%, so clearly relieved, but Maersk down 1.4%, Kuehne and Nagel only up 0.25%. I wonder, is it that different shipping companies have different obstacles to get shipping traffic back to normal?
I think there's some of that, and there's probably a lot of kind of aspects of their operations and their kind of logistics that are very different. So it might be about fuel costs. If you've got a particular kind of hedged position or an unhedged position, and suddenly you've got much lower fuel costs, that could be very helpful to you. I'm not speaking of those particular companies, but you will see a kind of a fair degree of variability between.
I'm expecting this now to pop up quite a bit, back to the like on average 100. Maybe a little less than 100. But
okay, well, as you can see on the screen,
start ramping up very, very
plummeted
quickly. Something
the
interesting to
amount
pay
of
attention to
crossings
today.
through Hormuz, just down to an absolute trickle if you compare the left to the right of the screen there. But great to get your analysis, Alaric. That's Bloomberg's Alaric Nightingale.
All right, so obviously pay attention to any data points as it relates to, are we actually getting the ships through? Back to the overall market very quickly. Wednesday, April the 8th at 10:30, crude oil inventories, 1 p.m. Eastern today, the 10-year note auction, 2 p.m. today, FOMC meeting minutes. This is not an FOMC meeting. It's the meeting minutes from the last meeting. But once again, that comes out at 2 p.m. today. With respect to individual companies, SpaceX is continuing to gear up for its public debut. Right now, it appears as if they are targeting June, the kind of the early summer time period. So something to pay attention to. I know many of you are excited, and also somewhat related to that, Elon Musk seeks ouster of OpenAI CEO Sam Altman as part of lawsuit. So Elon Musk and Sam Altman once again continuing with their billionaire drama. They very clearly hate each other, so it'll be interesting to see if there is any fallout in the drama with ChatGPT. If you haven't already, sign up for the newsletter. It is 100% free. You've never had to pay for it. You never will have to pay for it. You don't need a coupon or anything like that. Literally just click on the link. My mod will put it in chat. It's in the description of the video. Every single Sunday, you'll get a breakdown of what's going on in the market, cheat sheet for earnings, cheat sheet for all the major macroeconomic events, and then probably the most useful is the seasonality of each individual day, which brings us to the history of today, Wednesday, April the 8th. This is a look at the hypothetical equity curve you would have if you bought at open, sold at close on the S&P 500 futures market. For quite a while there was a clear downtrend, but then over the past about 8 to 9 years, the bulls have taken control with respect to seasonality. In terms of odds of winning, it's 50-50, but when the bulls win, they win with greater size, and it looks like today individually will be making it even higher. Tomorrow is a bit more neutral, and then Friday is also leaning bullish. Once again, this was 100% free, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. Check it out. All right, and then that brings us to today and what we're looking at. Obviously, things are sky high, which actually to the point, if we were to open right now, we would just be below 6,800, as in all the way up where my cursor is. We are gapping up above the gap that we've been tracking since Tuesday the 17th. We're gapping up above the 50 EMA. We're gapping up above the 200 SMA. This is a gigantic gap up. So we are literally gapping above a previous gap, which means we now have a large downside gap though to 6,618. Do I think that gets filled today? No. Can it get filled today? Obviously. Excuse me. It is something to keep in mind as things progress, especially in a week or two if we're getting negative news from the whole Iran situation. But I'm just trying to illustrate we are gapping up like literally all the way to here. Like this is where we're going to be opening today. So we're gapping above this gap, and the overall picture, all of a sudden we're going from lower highs and lower lows to such a singular day movement where things are probably going to be looking pretty freaking green. And then obviously as that's playing out, you're seeing a complete plummet in the world of oil getting destroyed. Look for it to break below 84. That'll be an interesting technical breakdown. Could be coming as quickly as today. Obviously, if you're looking at the Qs, we close at, I don't need this anymore. We close at 588. We're looking at 608, 609. Like this is just monster movement that all, like I guess the TLDR is, like risk is back on. The risk on trade is now back in vogue, and we're going to see if it plays out. As I always do, I mark out my key levels. Today's an interesting day because we're gapping up to roughly where my cursor is. The transition zone's all the way down here. The high, the low, and the close is all the way down here. So really, we're kind of dealing with no man's land where once again, these are the key levels I'm personally watching. Feel free to write them down. And on that particular note, dingity ding ding ding, the world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all, play responsibly, and if not, have fun. Well, I'm kind of kicking myself because remember, my orders were at 40 and 43. I would have already been done on the day. Obviously, that would have been a little bit of a degenerate bet to be holding it that long because you never know what the opening session's actually going to be. But I would officially have locked in the 900 on all of this. I would have locked in, I guess, 800 on these, and the other one would have been knocked out for break even. So unfortunately for me, I decided to be a little bit more risk adverse, a little bit more conservative, because I didn't know if there was going to be a bunch of profit taking out of the gate. So it didn't seem like it was a viable risk for me to take. But it's kind of one of those like, aw shucks moments, because I would have secured the 10K payout here. I would have passed all the tradeifys, and I would have had nice gains on the legends and the take profit. But hey, coulda, shoulda, woulda. You can't really cry over spilled milk, in my opinion, in this scenario, because it could have, as easily as much as that was a spike, it could have all been red, and I could have blown out accounts. So like, it is what it is. Don't I guess like hold yourself to that like the coulda, shoulda, woulda mindset. I just find it to be so dangerous, because like that's just, you're always using like anecdotal evidence of like, well, hang on, if I magically always played it perfect, I would have made so much money. Well, no, duh, you would have made so much money if you always magically played it perfect, but you're not going to be able to magically play it perfect every time. So like holding yourself to that standard, I believe, is a bit unfair. And if anything, it just messes with your mind. And look at this, like, did it pop? Yeah, but now we're going from 25,250 to almost seemingly, we dropped 110 points already. Like, we're moving with some serious range today. So please be careful. And actually, on that note, shout out to Apex. You can still get 90% off. This is the last day. We have 2 more trading sessions to use code Goonie to get 90% off. Look at the range that we are moving. This is very, very easy to pass evals. The evals right now are dirt cheap. So if you've been looking for a time to get into the world of futures trading, sim to funded trading, or if you're already in it and you want more accounts, the movement is there today. So you're going to have clearly enough movement. The hard part is just, are you on the right side of whatever the extreme movement is? But once again, I just want to shout this out. 90% off. This is the best deal they run. The movement is massive. And as long as you can identify whatever that moment, like, look at this. And you could have passed to the upside. You could have passed to the downside. Like, there was just a lot of opportunity. So just want to call that out there. And it's probably going to be there all day today, all day tomorrow, which is a perfect alignment with how long this discount is. 90% off. Use that code Goonie. Shout out to Apex. All right. Obviously, I did do a trade today. It was a break-even trade. I just want to be transparent. See, total P&L, just a little bit of slippage here and there. Nothing too special. It does seem as if it's quickly vomiting down to maybe VWAP. A little quick VWAP vomit. What time is it? 9:33. Which way is this all just extreme profit taking? Let me double check some information for you. There's a couple interesting changes for market makers that I want to point out, but I'll do that when things slow down a little bit. Let me get this over here. Mag 7. All right, here's the options flow since market open. The Mag 7 is actually going up, and the S&P 500 is sideways a little bit up. Big flow alerts right at market open, to literally no one's surprise, because this really is kind of insane. All right. So the session VWAP is down here, 25,072. The regular trading hours VWAP is 100 points higher at 172. The red dash lines, you know what? You guys were yelling at me yesterday that you preferred the look of this. I guess the colors jumped out a little bit more. It's the same stuff. I'm measuring the regular trading hours high, low, and 50%. We have the EMAs, and then we have the 2 VWAPs. So the dot dash lines are the VWAPs. The yellow lines are just the current regular trading hours, high and low, and that goes for 1 full hour from 9:30 to 10:30. I care about the IB, and then obviously the magenta line there is going to be your 50% retracement. That's going to be the old 50% retracement. The name of the game for me today is on 10 of my 20 accounts to get about $900 in profits, because that will be passing all the Tradeify evals, and it will be securing a $10,000 payout for me on FFN. So on 10 of my accounts, my goal is exclusively to try to, like, my goal is clearly just to make $900. And then on the other 10 accounts, I can run them up pretty large. I mean, on the legends, I could go up to 3K, and on the take profits, I could go up to 4.5. So on half the accounts, I can like play today. I can like kind of go for some big range if big range is the opportunity. The question here is, we're seemingly double topping at one of the VWAPs. Which way is options flow going? Options flow try to break to the upside, but still kind of flat. Mag 7 is climbing up. I know that the market is dipping, but Mag 7 is telling us a slightly different story. So is the NASDAQ. So I get it. Price is going down as of now. Granted, we're only 5 minutes into the session, but I'm seeing bullishness in the Mag 7. And I see that we had a clear rejection at 800. All right, this is the S&P 500. The chart's all messed up today because of the size of the gap up. Is this the breakout or the rejection trade? Do I want this trade, or do I think there's going to be a vomit down to VWAP? So we're at one VWAP. Once again, this tomato line is the... It's going to just get rejected at 200. I'm in at 175. That's $500. Up 25 points. Stop to break even. Do I want to attempt to buy this dip, or do I think it's going to get rejected right here and puke all the way to 25,075, another 100 points? If I'm in it and I don't get out, that's down 2K. I don't want to go down 2K. Remember, just because you could be confident about like the direction or something like that, that doesn't necessarily mean it's the best trade, because you might be confident, but your risk point might be so far away that it's like literally just not viable. So just because you're like, no, I am bullish, I am bearish, that's great. You could be confident in a direction based on whatever your metrics are, but sometimes that doesn't always mean it's the time to get in, because of the fact that maybe just your risk point's too far. We're getting rejected at the 50 EMA, but we are putting in higher lows. So there's an interesting, rejection, but higher lows. So the bulls are getting more aggressive with these higher lows, but the bears are holding strong at 175. Let's see who wins this. Obviously, I have no position on right now. I'm just kind of doing my best to wait. I don't need to force anything today, and I don't think anyone should be forcing anything today, because already we're having so much movement and range that if you're patient, it seems like we're going to have many opportunities to make some high quality, big range trades today. You don't need to be chasing stuff. You really don't. All right, so we just made a fresh intraday low. Do I want to be this guy? I'm generally not this guy, but do I just want to buy at VWAP? Am I that guy today? Icarus actually fired bearish on this breakdown here at 9:38. With the new minute at 9:38, Icarus did fire bearish. Oh, thumbs up or thumbs down to buy at VWAP. It's not my normal play. I have been studying the statistics of VWAP a little bit more lately, so I'm getting a bit more comfortable. I'm getting a bit more into the world of building out strategies specifically involved with VWAP. And if anything, I'm trying to marry Icarus and VWAP together for a whole new type of a trading system. My analysis is not complete yet, so it's not like I'm like absurdly confident about it, but the initial stuff is actually pretty promising. It is pretty promising. We're taking a little bit of a hit here. It feels like we are about to puke down to VWAP. It does have that feeling that people are going to react to this as a magnet. Should I be that guy? Folks, I need your help today. You guys, I'm asking for your assistance in getting a $10,000 payout. Should I buy VWAP? Sell at VWAP? Well, if you're going to sell, the selling was back here. You either want to sell at 44, or you want to sell at 34. The selling, you don't want to sell down there when you could have sold up here with pretty acceptable risk. Oh brother, oh brother, oh brother, oh brother. How do I want to play it down to VWAP? Like I said, Icarus was firing some interesting short signals. It is clearly trending down for the moment. All these profit takers. The risk isn't the worst in the world. It's actually really not that bad at all. Oh, what do I want to do? How do I want to play this one, Tonto? How do I want to play this one? If you're just joining right now, I do have no position on. Fuck. Did I just miss that? Well, now it's chasing it. Now I can't. I was in at 120. That would have been nice because I could have been done if it does hit VWAP. Thoughts on QQQ? That's literally what's on the screen. QQQ is the NASDAQ. On the screen is the NASDAQ. They're both tracking NDX. So my thoughts are literally everything I've said about this, you would apply to the NASDAQ. They're one in the same. Yeah, all right. Do I want to be the VWAP buyer? Yes, no, maybe so. Yes, no, maybe so. We're going through 75. Mag 7 did pop, pulled back a little bit. The S&P 500 did pop, kind of coming down a bit. We didn't quite hit VWAP. We got as low as 94, a little pop to 30 there. Is it not going to hit VWAP? That's a brutal one. Because if I was playing for VWAP, this would have knocked me out. That pop, yeah, we're getting some range. We're getting some movement today. We're getting some range. We're getting some movement.
Order filled. Order filled. Order submitted. Order
All right,
submitted.
I put in my protection.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
Let's see how it goes. Free trade alert. We are targeting VWAP. This is a classic play from the world of order flow traders. I see we almost got to it, bounce, a little fake out. We wick some of these recent highs. Do I want to do the free trade or do I want to leave it at 131? I could. Do I want to do this? I could leave it at this high. That's also viable at this moment in time, but that's a lower high, so maybe I should target that. It'd be easier if this just goes through 90, to be completely honest. The issue here is I need $900, not $760. Ooh, do I really want to be this kind of guy? Like the profit target I need is just, I want to check order flow here. It is going down. Mag 7's catching a little bit of a bid. Okay, the regular trading hours VWAP is 150. If we get there, do I want to get out at 130 and re-add, or would I just add another contract there? Mag 7's starting to pop. S&P 500 sold off, kind of going flat a little bit now. How do I want to play this? Or maybe we don't hit VWAP? Maybe that's the sucker play? I can't go break even yet. I can go break even if we take out 89. There's just a lot of buying here at 100. What are we doing? Look at that. We're just perfectly oscillating. It just buyers are continually stepping in at 100. We don't have to hit VWAP. There's no rules in the books that we have to do that. Speaking of VWAP, it is not on that screen that I was showing you. So here, right, let me throw it on. VWAP is 77. I'm trying to get the fill at 75. Where's the other VWAP? That's a good question. We're ping-ponging in between the VWAPs. I have a short position, and I'm just targeting this. And my issue right now is that I can see it on Bookmap. A bunch of buyers keep coming in at 100. A bunch of buyers keep coming in at 100. Come on. Right there. Again, see? Every single time. Every single time. All right. This is now seemingly going against me. Now we have to pay attention to this other VWAP. Is this going to be a breakout, or do I want to add here? This was what I was saying before. In the event we get there, it is a recent high. It's roughly 150. If I add it, my average would jump up a decent amount. Do I want to play this? And if I do play it, where do I have to lay down my sword and admit I was wrong?
Order canceled.
All right. We're in dangerous territories now, folks. If this starts to fail, I'll add another one, and I'll just use, I guess that is my risk. Am I fighting momentum? What's going on? S&P 500 did pop. Mag 7 did pop. All that. Bearish. Almost breaking down. Still bullish. Bearish. Bearish, but maybe recovering. And then that's bullish. Is this going to be a non-VWAP type of a day? Or do I just want to close it? This is all still manageable for me, especially on a day like today with so much range. The question is, do we fail at this VWAP? This is where I got caught up last week. Is it going to fail? Or it doesn't want to hit? Hang on, let's see the larger structure. What is this high? This high is 80. 8 or maybe 80 and some change. Ooh, and we just got hit anyway. Okay, I mean, I was going to add here at this breakdown of 41, but now that's chasing it. I guess I should have had the pending order. I mean, this could be a higher low. What's the options flow looking like? Go back to the flow. The Mag 7 was going. Someone just hit it. S&P 500 was going. Someone just hit it. Here's the 1 minute. We're back up to the highs that we saw at 935. Here, momentum on the 1 minute still bearish. If we take out 118, I have a legitimate shot, but I need this to hold. It might be actually switching trend in real time. And that's what I'm doing my best to discern right now is, do I just want to bail on the position? Like, are we actually about to flip? Calm, cool, collected. Let's do this off of actual price action, actual data. I think that's the only way to fairly do this. Struggling in between the IB 50% and the regular trading hours VWAP. I don't know which way it's going to break. If you have a prediction of which way it's going to break, you're going to be right half the time, wrong half the time. I'm a 50-50 trader, and anyone who tells you they're not a 50-50 trader, well, they're lying to you. It's a 50-50 game. The question is, how do you control your risk and your reward playing a 50-50 game? Okay, we did put in a higher low, but now we have lower highs. I was really. I guess I could add a contract on these ones. They have a bigger buffer. Oh, how do I want to play this? Is that too degenerate on a day like today?
Order submitted. Order submitted. Order filled.
Well, we're going to find out.
Order submitted. Order submitted.
All right, added in another short, and I'm targeting 100 in case
Order
it bounces
filled.
there. Locked in some gains, realized some gains, and we're almost at what I really need. We're moving this one up to 80, and we're moving this one up to 80. Come on, hit it, 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 hit it.
Order filled.
Boom. Just
Order
like
canceled.
that. Just like that, folks. 1.1. I needed the 900. So we had a little bit there. But that's how you play it. That's how you play a 50-50 game, folks. You keep your risk in control. When you're right, you ride it. When you're wrong, you get ready to cut. And call it as luck. Call it luck. Call it whatever. I'm going to call it $20,000. You can call me lucky. You can call me a degenerate. You can call me whatever you want, but you better call me $20,000 richer. Make sure that's in there. Matt's lucky. He's $20,000 richer. Matt's degenerate. He's $20,000 richer. Matt is a fucking good-looking, model-esque financial streamer who's $20,000 richer. That's how you do it, folks. Look at that. Hit VWAP. It's almost as if it's exactly the play I called out to you. Dude, am I clairvoyant? I know a lot of the times we're in here and I tell you guys that I can't tell the future, but sometimes I scare myself. Literally bouncing off of VWAP right there. Maybe I do know. Maybe, I don't know. Guys, ask me the lottery numbers or something. Like maybe this is one of these days where I'm just plugged into the matrix. Like maybe it is my day. Okay, so I am done because the 7 PVs, I've now secured another $10,000 payout. So I'm not going to trade those. On Tradeify, I'm done because I passed the eval, 159, 159, 159, 159. So there's no point in me trading those. I can trade the legends and I can trade the take profit. So the top 5, 10 right here, I am done. That 10,000, technically 11,000 is locked in, donezo, not touching it. I hit my goals. On the flip side, I have legends and I have take profits. The legends I can run up to 3K. The take profits I can run up to 4.5. So if I see another opportunity, I might take it. What's 7 PV? Those are the funded accounts for FFN, Funded Futures Network. We're a partner with them. I really like it. Like I said, I'm about to get my third payout from them, 10K, 10K. This will be the third 10K. Dude, you sat there deciding to leave for the day and now you make one trade? I don't understand the question. Dude, you sat there deciding to leave for the day and now you make one trade. I don't know if that's actually even English. I'm not sure what you were saying. Matt, I was sitting on the shitter when you originally got in, got bummed, came back and was like, fuck it, I like the flow, and got in around 148 and wrote it down to 78. Dude, Mikey. Or I make money. Not Mikey. I make money. It sounds like you made money. Can you go over how you determine your take profit? It seems like you're really good. Well, literally, it's VWAP. I just know that there's a bunch of fucking retards out there trading off of VWAP, and it becomes so much of the market is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay, so let me explain this. Here's the question. How did I decide that this was my price? The question was, how did I decide this was my take profit? It's because that was VWAP, session VWAP. It starts at 6 p.m. the night before because we're trading NQ futures here. Why that level? Well, I picked that level because I know a lot of other people are watching that level. When a lot of other people are watching that level, it causes them to trade at that level, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because a lot of other people trade there, you see the reaction there, more people see that there was a reaction there, so then they decide to trade it, and you can see it's just getting this reinforcement of because people watch it, other people watch it, and because other people are watching it, they trade at it. More people trading at it causes more of a reaction, and thus more people like to trade at it. So Why did I target that level? Well, it's a key level, aka VWAP, which is a popular order flow, I guess, analysis tool of where is the volume weighted average price. It gives you an idea of where is the average player in at that time, whatever time frame you're looking at. And because enough people are watching the VWAP on a daily basis, I'm going to watch it because you get this self-fulfilling prophecy phenomena, which if you use it properly, well, that's how you can lock in trades. And as I did here, what's that? 1.1K, 20 accounts. So I made 22,000 off of that. Did you take a VWAP class? No, it would be a fucking waste. It would be a 2-minute class. Do you want the class on VWAP? I'll give you the entire class on VWAP. VWAP, VWAP, volume weighted average price. You get to decide what time you want to start measuring it. You could do it when the market opens. You could do it when the weekly opens, the monthly opens, the quarterly opens, the yearly opens, the decade opens. You pick the time to start. From that time forward, the indicator, which is a measurement of order flow, is going to be looking at all the trades at all of the prices, and it creates some sort of average value. So it is looking at the size, the amount of contracts, the amount of shares bought at every single price, averages it out, and it gives you an average price. That's the volume weighted part. The weighted part is how much is being traded at every single price. And it gives you an idea of where the quote unquote average participant is involved in the market. It's commonly thought to be bullish above, bearish below. That is a little bit up for debate, but it's not really the subject of this. But that's all it is. It's an order flow tool. You can say that if you are long below that, you're better off than the average participant. If you are short above it, you are better off than the average participant. But that's the class. I don't like what else. It's just another indicator. This one's particularly an order flow indicator. And like many indicators, the more popular it is, the more you have to pay attention to it, because the more people using it, well, they're going to end up trading off of it. If you ask me, I actually like order flow indicators more than maybe your EMAs, your SMAs, your RSI, just because this is one that I know for a fact institutional players are using in the world of institutional Wall Street. If you are trading, it is actually an important measurement for you as a trader, as an analyst. Is your fill above or below VWAP? That's something they care about. They might not necessarily care about the 5 EMA or this RSI or that. So in terms of popularity, it's much more popular across the entire ecosystem of Wall Street, spanning from retail traders to some of the biggest player. I know that there's a lot of hedge funds, quant funds that are measuring that day in and day out. So it just has more importance because it's more popular, which is why I pay attention to it even more. But like I said, it all just comes back to being a self-fulfilling prophecy. The more traders and decisions you have being made around a very specific indicator, level, measurement, the more you're going to see a reaction there. So this one is VWAP, and to be specific, this is on NQ, starting at NQ market open, 6 p.m. the calendar day before, and then the orange dash line is VWAP starting at 9:30 at market open. Those are just the two I use. People use VWAP from the high of the day, the low of the day, the start of the week, the start of the month, the start of the year. For all I fucking know, the start of the decade. VWAP, you can choose to start the measurement wherever you want. I just end up using it on the session, the start of the session, which for futures is 6 p.m. the night before. And then I also use it on regular trading hours, which is 9:30 a.m. ET. Okay, so we hit VWAP. Now what? That's a good question. You do the same thing you do whenever you hit any key level. You pay attention to the trend created from that key level. You should never come into it and say, it has to be bullish, it has to be bearish, like I am beholden to this thought. No, we came to a key level and watch for the breakout. We're making a bit of a range between 25,105 and 25,064. That's our range. Pay attention to the breakout, and in whichever way it breaks, pay attention to does that breakout actually hold. We're just at a point of equilibrium. There's many, many ways to define points of equilibrium in the market, and the same thing you do at any point of equilibrium is when you get there, pay attention to the reaction and see if you can play the trend from that point of equilibrium to the next point of equilibrium. That's what you do. You don't need to overcomplicate it. Whether you want to be bullish or bearish here, the trade was into VWAP. Yeah, you could have bought it because we were bullish above and you could be counting on a reversion. So you're long at 80. At one point, you were up 25 points. You could have bought again at 81. You were up at 20 points. You could have bought at 80 again. You were up another 25 points. So like, if you're playing like, hey man, I think the overall momentum's higher, like it's up just because obviously we have this giant gap up, you're buying the dip. I understand that. If I had to have a bias here, it would be bullish. But if you wanted to wait for it, you could wait for the reversal. What you do is you just pull up the 1 minute. You pull up the, where's my 1 minute? You pull up the 1 minute. Oops, I don't need this at all. You pull up the 1 minute. You can see we have a clear range of consolidation right here from 105 down to roughly 75. You just wait for the breakout above 105, the close above, you risk the recent low, and hopefully you can ride it all the way up to 61, maybe 81, or then maybe you're targeting the intraday high at 250. If we keep dipping, well, at a certain point, you have to ask yourself, how far do we have to dip till the trend changes? Remember, the definition of a bullish or bearish trend is very specific to the time frame you're looking at it. So you might be saying, oh, on the 1 minute, this is clearly bearish right now, lower highs and lower lows. But you can be the person who then looks at the 30 minute and you're like, no, this is obviously bullish, higher highs and higher lows. You could look at the 4 hour, higher highs and higher lows. Trend is by definition going to be specific to the time frame you are looking at. That's true if you're looking at something small like the 100 tick, which is right now sideways, nothing. No fresh highs, no fresh lows. The 1 minute is a bit bearish. The 5 minute and 10 minute are questionable. Anything in 30 minute and above, that's going to be bullish. So whenever you're saying, oh, I'm bullish, I'm bearish, remember to add the definition of, well, what time frame are you using? Because something can look amazingly bullish on the daily, but it could look amazingly bearish on the 5 minute. That's obviously possible. They are accumulating here. Well, that's just that's a fancy way to say consolidation. It means we are no longer trending. From market open, we had a quick, well, hang on. This isn't the best chart to explain this concept. Here, we had a quick pop to the upside, and then it was bearish, lower highs, lower lows. Obviously, this was a directional trade. That stopped right when we hit VWAP. Surprise, surprise, a reactionary level of equilibrium. And not only that on NQ, but then if you look at SPX, look at that. We're at 75, a key gamma node right here, a negative gamma node at 775. Not so much of a surprise that people are reacting there. So you just have to wait. I have no idea which way it breaks. If I had to randomly guess, and remember it's 50-50, I guess I would bet on it breaking upward just because the medium time frame, aka the 30 minute, is bullish. But I don't know. I wouldn't just arbitrarily trade it. I would wait to see some sort of confirmation. But yeah, someone said it's accumulating, or they're accumulating, that mysterious, them, like this like boogeyman in the market. No, dude, price is it's just not moving right now. That happens. It's okay. It is completely okay. You just wait. You just have to have patience. And right now it's 10:03. So a lot of you, my shrewd viewers, are pointing out maybe that 10 a.m. reversal. That's totally possible. We've been trending down. The medium time frame is bullish based on momentum and also structure. So maybe at 10 a.m. institutions come in here and decide to buy at VWAP and we get to pop off of it. That wouldn't be the craziest thing. If anything, I would actually love for that to happen because I think that would actually be the trade of the day. 10 a.m. reversal, buy the dip. You're buying at a point of equilibrium. You're not carrying that much risk, and you potentially get to ride it up another 175 points. The risk reward is there. I like it. I like it. I'm just waiting for a little bit more of confirmation. If I do enter, I would love for my entry to be below 100 just because I'm probably not going to get it below VWAP. But if it's below 100, if we pop and pull back, 100 at least might be where buyers step in. So I could get protected there and I don't get like wicked out. But you never know. You never know. And once again, to clarify, I'm trading 28 accounts, but I am already done with 10 of 20. I passed my Tradeify evals, and I secured a $10,000 payment on my 7 PVs, which is FFN. Let me take a look at this. That's all positive gamma. We are trending up. The SPY is going there. Mag 7 is trending down, so that's against the Mag 7, but the SPY popped there. Just waiting. You have to have patience. Ceasefire doesn't seem to be holding, so I'd say bearish for the day. Never conflate your political military bias for your direction of trading. I've done that myself. I've seen too many traders do that, where you have this opinion of what should happen in the market because of your interpretation of a political update, and it causes a lot more issues than anything else. It causes a lot more issues. So I understand how easy it is to fall for that. I deeply, deeply understand that.
Order filled.
Just don't do it. Like, that's your random interpretation. Who knows if your interpretation is right? That is not like a tradable system that you can do anything with in the future. That's actually like a really, really bad way to engage in the market. Oh, in fact, a horrible way to engage in the market, because you don't know if your interpretation is right. Well, we're getting a little crazy here. Once again, I'm only trading on half my accounts because I already hit my goal on the other half. And of course, the second I get in, I got caught up in this fake out breakout right here. I was trying to get in right on that break, but maybe it is just a pure fake out. There's a lot of sellers at 100 that I'm paying attention to. But this idea of like, oh, I don't believe the ceasefire is like a real ceasefire. How do you know that? How do you know if you're right? Even if the market does sell off, how do you know that it sold off because your interpretation was right? Obviously, if it goes up, you know you're straight up wrong. But like, if you are a day trader, scalp trader, I honestly find it sometimes better to not consume news, to not pay attention to political updates, news updates, or anything like that, because it can get in the way of you just reading pure price action. When you have this idea of whatever political, military updates, this, that, the other thing, it's super, super easy to like apply the price action through that lens. Right now, we are dipping, even though the generic picture is we are up a lot in the market. So one of my pieces of advice for you guys today is whatever. If you want to have a political opinion, great, have at it. I hope it's well researched, cool. But leave it at the door when it comes to trading. I've seen too many people lose way too much money thinking that like their political opinion or bias is right, and it's going to do nothing but cost you money. It really, really is. Matt, do you play longer trades like puts for SPY next month? I do have swing plays, of course. They're all over the Discord. But I'm not like buying puts right now is like tactically the wrong play. I don't know if you're specifically asking, would I buy puts right now? No, I definitively would not buy puts right now because to me, that would be a really, really stupid move. It's just the risk reward is not there. I don't know if it happens or not, but I'm just commenting. Assume it's 50-50. Assume whatever you're doing is 50-50 and then ask yourself, is it good risk reward? Matt, check the news. Iran to approach peace talks with the U.S. with caution. Iranian ambassador to the UN says, don't give a shit. I'm playing price action. Like, I don't know how many times I have to say this. Do not apply your opinion of a political bias. Well, I should have been knocked out there. Do not apply your opinion of a political bias to something like that. Just don't do it. You don't know if you're going to be right. Like at the end of the day, we're all just retail traders. You don't know what's going on in the larger political or military apparatus. Play the price action. What's the over under on Israel screwing this peace deal up? I have no idea. But I'm watching this retest of VWAP. If the retest of VWAP fails and it starts to go back down, I'm going to close this position for seemingly a 20-point hit. I was trying to play this breakout right here at 10:06. I saw it start to go up. I thought it was going to press. I wanted to have the fill specifically below 100. So I was a little bit early to the entry, as you can obviously tell. But it was just because I wanted to have that as protection. And in this particular circumstance, as of right now, it doesn't look so good. But let's see how things play out. The real reaction is in oil. I agree. I mean, it was down 18%. Is this actually going again? Jesus. Every time they're trying to spike it, it just does not work. All right. Is it going to actually go this time? We are having a real issue at the 1 minute 20 EMA. We just keep getting rejected. But even this, it was a fake out breakdown. By definition, when you fail to break down, it has to be bullish. Now, I'm not saying it's necessarily done yet, but I'm just pointing out how we keep reverting to VWAP. Every time they push it under, someone out in the universe keeps buying it back up to VWAP. Now, granted, you can say, but Matt, the opposite thing is happening. Every single time we try to get away from VWAP, someone is smacking it back down. Both are true. Like right now, you can't really say anything about the intraday session beyond the fact that we are just pinned to VWAP. And we just have to wait for that to clearly change. Like that's just what we have to do. There are a lot of people attempting to sell at 100. It looks like 150 contracts are trying to get unloaded right in this realm of 100. Will it happen? Won't it happen? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. But honestly, I'm playing today on easy mode because I already did exactly what I needed to do. I locked in the 10K payout from FFN. That was my major goal of the day. To boot, a little bit of a bonus. I did also pass the Tradeifys. So now I'm just trading these other accounts to see how it goes out. But really, my main goals of the day were successfully achieved. Do I want to add one here right at VWAP and then unload the first one at 95? I could add at VWAP right now and then unload this first one and improve my average by about 15 points. Do I think VWAP holds? We're just hanging out at VWAP. We're just hanging out at VWAP. I kind of do want to do this.
Order filled.
So VWAP is 81. I added at 83.75. My first fill was 95. So what we're going to do is unload that first
Order
contract
submitted.
at 98 for like a slight gain. And then I'm just improving my average down to basically VWAP. So VWAP was at 80. My fill was at 95. I was off by 15 points. I just added another one at basically 84. So effectively VWAP. And I want to unload that first contract because I don't feel like carrying two contracts today. It's just a little bit too much risk. So I'm hoping we get a little bit of a push up. And I am obviously front running the sellers that I see at 100, trying to dump that first contract. So just trying to, I guess, improve my positioning on this, just getting my fill a little bit closer to VWAP. So we'll see if that was a smart move or a dumb move. All I can tell you for right now is we are very, very much pinned to this key level, but I'm pretty confident this will work. So this is just, I don't know, maybe a little bit more of an advanced strategy, but it's just kind of positional management. My goal here is kind of to unload the first one for effectively break even and then ride on the second contract that has a better fill closer to a key area that I care about. Now, obviously, if that works, you seem really, really smart. If you're wrong and like I get directionally wrong, well, now I'm carrying two contracts in the wrong direction. But like I said, seeing what I'm paying attention to on VWAP, I think the market will be interested in attempting to tag 100 just because of the amount of orders that I see sitting there. Maybe that's the wrong. Someone just came in at 90. They just made that position. 89.5. Actually, my average fill is where I see a bunch of people on Bookmap trying to do something. Can you guys see this right here? Yeah, you guys can see this. You can see, this is Bookmap, by the way. Someone just placed this order, 105 contracts at 89.5. I'm curious how that's going to play out for me. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Right there. So I'm watching 89.5. Someone's trying to dump some contracts, but before that order just got placed, really before my play at 98 was because of this. I see people trying to dump at 99 and 100 flat. kind of with the theory of like, okay, that might act as a magnet. There's going to be enough people like me paying attention to it that maybe that person is going to get filled. Now, will there be follow through? I have no idea. But once again, that's why I'm just trying to do my positional management of dumping my first contract for a small gain. And then I'll be on a second one with about a 12-point better fill. So let's see. Okay, we just took out that player right there at 89.5. So and they actually got filled right here. You can see they got filled. That's this green bubble. They got filled. Interesting. So that was aggressive buying, but then there wasn't enough follow through to get us up to the next level. The white line over here, that is surprise, surprise, VWAP. And then the yellow line is the point of control. So that's not a weighted average. That's just literally where is the most volume traded, like the exact price where most volume is traded. So once again, this is just a very important point of equilibrium. Obviously, as you can see from my bets over here, I'm betting that it does break to the upside. Am I like hardcore, like devoted to that trade? No, not at all. Like I think because of the medium-term momentum, the 30-minute, the 1 hour, the 2 hour, and the 4 hour, and the daily, that I think the Bulls are more in control than the Bears. But once again, I would say that maybe I'm not 50-50, but I would say maybe a 10% edge if you're trading with it. But I'm just showing you this screen to point out that there was, let me scroll back. There was this player right here that got filled at 89.5. They threw on the trade. The market traded right up into it, got the fill, and then there wasn't follow through. Knocked back down to VWAP, knocked back down to the point of control. And as of right now, I'm still just watching these players up here at 99 and 100, 69 and 69. So about 138 contracts to be sold right at this $100 rung. And that's exactly why I'm front running it by 1 point. There's I'm intentionally front running it at 98 just in case, and I don't know if it will or won't happen, but just in case, similar to back here at 10:15 when we got rejected, just in case that happens here, well, I want to unload at least one of mine before that because it just not only locks in a little bit of profit, but it helps de-risk the situation. Now, I am bummed out that we just ran into 91 and didn't get any follow through. I very much want to see this zone tested. But like I said, I'm feeling decently confident about it getting filled. I think I just need patience. If it doesn't break down, it's bullish. Well, I would say by definition that has to be true. If something's not breaking down, it's maybe it's not bullish, but it's definitely not bearish. Maybe it's not. All right, maybe this view's a little bit better. Right here, we're watching these guys. See, we're slowly but surely climbing up to see. And just so you know, these are current pending orders. That doesn't necessarily mean they have to stay there, though. Sometimes you're going to see it that when you start to get close, they just pull the order like right before. And that's just like an aspect of gamesmanship of saying it's just a fake out, basically. It does get a little bit in the hairy line of what is spoofing, what is not spoofing. But you can do that. There's no like law or anything that like this trade has to stay there. Like any other trader in the market, you could have a trade and then you could decide to change your mind. So if you watch Bookmap long enough, you're going to see many, many examples of that where you start to go up to a very key level and then right before they pull the order, and then that allows you to like really rip through, and it can work in both directions. So just kind of wanted to point that out, that just because we are sitting there now, there's no rule that we like have to keep doing it. But watching 100, and then also on the bottom here, it looks like it is 36-ish. So there's some buyers at 36, but there's more sellers at 99 and 100. So I'm just patiently waiting for that. S&P 500 is actually taking a hit with the Delta flow. The Mag 7 is also taking a hit. The Nasdaq is also taking a hit. Lots of profit taking. If we look into it, especially Let me show you the difference. Look at calls getting sold, people locking in profits. Looking at the Mag 7, calls getting sold, people locking in profits. We're not going down in terms of market open to this moment because people are aggressively being bearish, i.e. buying puts. No. They are selling calls. They are either selling calls to open a position or more likely they're selling calls to lock in their profits. Right here at the S&P 500, we are seeing this trend is suggesting selling of calls, people locking in their profits. And when you gap up this much, in all reality, can you blame them? Like, can you blame them with that? Like, that's just a smart play. When you finally have a big swing in your favor, you might as well lock it in. Matt, thank you for everything you do, bro. At this point, just going to hold my calls. Hey, do whatever you want. I'm not your mom. I'm not in control of your money. Look at this, finally a jump in stability. I know 32% is low. At one point today, it was like 50%. And even that, it's not the highest stability, but over the past couple of weeks, we've been dealing with stability below 5%. The fact that we are like up in double-digit stability right now, if you ask me, is kind of impressive. I'm stoked about it. So instead of it all being red the way it's been for weeks, finally we have some positive gamma, we have some stability. It just tells me another thing that like the bulls are coming back. The bulls are making like an attempt. 8-minute oil news. It's just crude oil inventories. That's not like the end all be all by any means. But yes, crude oil inventories does come out at 10:30. But that's not something that I'm expecting to have a gigantic impact in the short term and definitely not in the long term. Definitely not in the long term. No trend. I'm out until there is one. Once again, what time frame are you looking at? Remember, is there not a trend, and the direction of the trend, i.e. bullish or bearish, it's all specific to the time frame you're on. So to just say there's not a trend, what time frame are you looking at? It's not like that is generically true for all time frames. Surprise, surprise, we are right back to VWAP. It's almost as if that's a very, look at this, someone just got taken out at 85, and now we're going to that exact target that I was telling you about of 100. Let's see how the market reacts to this player. Remember, I'm trying to properly manage my accounts from the perspective of risk by de-risking a bit by selling right before these sellers. We might bust through, and this might rip, and we might go to 250, and I might be kicking myself saying, man, why did I just not hold all my contracts? But I don't know how they're going to react. I don't know at all. So because I have 2 contracts, why not be safe? Lock in a little bit right there. And then if it does break, great. I still have some skin in the game. And if it goes, it goes. If not, okay, I could get out for break even on the other contract. It's all a game of risk reward. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. Don't assume that, especially when you're sizing up, that it's going to magically break in your manner. Dude, this is the second time I've now shown you in real time that a new order comes in, we take out that order, and then we dump right away. Something funky is going on. This time it was at 85. Last time it was at 91. But you can see it. This little red heat map happened right here. So it happened at 11:15, and then it happened again just now at 11:22 or 10:22, excuse me, where someone puts in an order, we run up to it, fill it, get smacked. And same thing right here, just happened literally now. That pump right there, we ran into someone at 85, ran into it, filled them, got smacked. And now we're at this side of VWAP, we're at this side of the point of control. Kind of interesting. I wouldn't mind if that happens again all the way up here. This is the main node that I'm paying attention to, this red zone, this heat map. Remember, it gets darker red just the more that's sitting there. So yellow is like, oh, okay, there's some people sitting there. Orange, okay, some more. Red is, on a relative basis, there's a lot of sitting orders right at that level. The color darkens the more that you are sitting there. So I'm looking for this bounce off of VWAP, which remember, when we do bounce, whether either direction, we're either going to really bounce, we're going to plummet. Good opportunity for you guys to be able to pass that Apex test in one day. Shout out to Apex. Use that code Goonie, Goonie, for 90% off. You can take the eval for dirt cheap. I like the 150K end of day drawdown accounts. That's my personal opinion. I do recommend to you use whatever account you think is best for you and your success. I'm just letting you you know my favorite. And then also a friendly reminder that Spot Gamma, which is the tool we're using right here, it's the tool we use to track the flow. It's this right here. They are doing a free educational webinar tomorrow, April 9th, Thursday, 1 p.m. It is pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. My mod will put it in chat. It is a free educational webinar for all of you. Very, very, very cool. First name, email, that's all you need. You don't have to pay anything. It is a free webinar tomorrow, 1 p.m. Highly recommend you guys all check it out. The mod Chaos just dropped it in chat. So if you guys want to click on it, check it out. It is in the description. Once again, 1 p.m. ET tomorrow. So if you like this tool, if you like this tool, if you like this tool, if you like the options analytics that Spot Gamma offers, well, I know that they're about to roll out even cooler stuff, and they're doing some free education surrounding that. So I do recommend you guys check that out. Well, that's breaking against me as oil is going up. But not much, honestly. Yeah, this is just a game of patience in all reality. Just a game of patience, waiting. I do find it interesting that 2 separate times, 5 minutes apart, we had some random level come in. It's like some random large order come in. The market ripped to it, filled it, and then got immediately rejected. Makes me feel like there was maybe more size behind that trade than you'd first anticipate. Do you see a huge sell order at 6825? I have no idea. I could try to pull it up. Uh, 18 o'clock. It's going to take a second. It's going to take a second to load this data. No, I see a bunch of people at 8:14. Actually, a shitload of people at 8:14 on ES. Once again, ES, not SPX. But like I said, it's going to take a second for that data to download. So let's just wait and see. But for what I could see right now, there's a gigantic order at 8:14 on ES, which is probably part of the reason why we're not really going up in NQ. But yeah, we just have to wait for that data to import and actually. Well, look at that. Right back to VWAP. If you just played the VWAP reversion trade today, you would have made a shitload of money. You would have made a shitload of money. Here's a look at options flow. Let me reload that. Here's a look at the gamma map. You can see a lot of positive gamma today. I don't understand how people could possibly be profitable not using this type of information. How are people possibly trading not knowing options flow? It just doesn't make sense to me. How are people trading not knowing where all the big money is positioned? That's exactly why you should take advantage of this free webinar. Once again, it's free. There's no downside risk to you. And hey, the upside is maybe you learn something or two, especially from people who know what they're actually talking about. Once again, it is tomorrow at 1 p.m. And you can bet that I'm going to be there because anything that Spot Gamma rolls out, I ravenously try to consume and understand because they just put out like literally the best options analytics tools that you can imagine. You are talking to a person who has purchased a subscription to all of them. If you can think of an options website tool out there, I've tried them all. I've used them all. I promise you that what you have at Spot Gamma is second to none. Second to none. I've used every single one in the space, and it's not even close of how much better Spot Gamma is. It's just all these other ones, they've cut so many corners, they don't have quality data, the analytics that they do on top of the options data, it's really suspect. It's a lot of the times actually found to be inaccurate. And they're just kind of doing shit to get it up on social media and be like, look at this, we saw this. And once again, I don't have an issue with marketing it to however you see like appropriate. I do have an issue though when they're literally interpreting the data incorrectly. I see that all of the time. How scary is that? The amount of times that a spot gamma competitor has interpreted their own data incorrectly, it literally happens on a weekly basis. But that's the difference, is a lot of these competitors were created by people who are not professional to the industry. They're just wannabe flow bros. While if you look at the team behind Spot Gamma, they all had professional backgrounds in either hedge funds or options market making in Wall Street. They know what they're talking about. And when your eyes get open to that, you kind of realize, why would you ever be spending money elsewhere? You know? Since watching you, I've made Spot Gamma, I've passed numerous funded account challenges. That's awesome. I'm super, super happy for you. It's just a good tool. I'm not one who thinks you need to have an excessive amount of indicators, this, that, or the other thing. But right now, with the massive popularity of options trading, if you don't know what's happening with options flow, you're at an extreme disadvantage. If you don't know what's happening with options flow or the positioning of where the large players are, you're just at a disadvantage. There's so many people where you're like, why did it turn there? Why did so many big orders come in exactly at that moment? That, like, those types of questions. Well, a lot of the times, once again, because of the massive popularity of options trading, that's the answer. Right there. It's just because there's a gigantic call position, a gigantic put position. There's a flow alert. There's an iron condor. This is where the market makers go from positive gamma to negative gamma, or vice versa. This is where the zero DT was positive, goes negative. Like, you just need to know those types of things. All right. I'm wondering if what we just saw is the official low of the day. That little final flush out right there, 1030, 10. Did we break? We did break the IB low. I'm curious if we're going to bounce from here. So the initial balance is the first hour high and low. That's IB. It's an Orbo. They just call it the initial balance if it's for the first 60 minutes of the trading session. Why do they call it that? I don't know. I bet there's some history or lore to it. But we just wicked below the IB low. And now I'm curious if we're about to bounce back up to the IB 50%. So the IB low is around 25,041, 42. And then the IB 50% is about 100 points above. So I'm curious. I do see oils going, and I see Bitcoin's getting hit. Quite a bit of profit taking still going on. Let's see if this is the actual low. The Mag 7 was looking good until about 948, got hit. The S&P 500 was looking good, got hit, went flat, and then started to get hit again right there a full hour into the day. A full hour into the day. People slowly realizing America lost. I think if you believe America lost, you just have a completely inaccurate misunderstanding of what actually happened in this situation. If you for 1 second think that the U.S. military isn't capable of wiping out the entire landmass known as Iran within 24 hours, you're just getting too inundated from bullshit from social media. You really, really are. And I'm not saying what we did was right or wrong, but like to have that vast of a misunderstanding of how strong our military is. Once again, this definition of winning and losing, you might be able to argue, well, hang on, maybe the negotiations weren't really going our way. But even that, how could you say winning or losing from a negotiations perspective when we don't know what they are? And from a straight out military strength perspective, once again, we could wipe out that entire country within 24 hours. So to say that we lost, that's just stupid. Like, it really is. It's just you're getting too consumed by what's happening in social media. Just far too consumed of mainstream media, social media, the talking points, getting spun up of whether you like it or you don't, but taking your personal like satisfaction or dissatisfaction aside to define this as a loss. It's just, first of all, You're either looking at it from straight up military or negotiations. We don't have the answers to negotiations, so you can't fairly comment on did we win or did we lose. The negotiations are not known. And then from a military standpoint, if like you have to be a crazy person to think that our military couldn't wipe out all of Iran within a day. That's just factual of where we're at. Now, that doesn't mean I agree with what was said or how it happened, and it's not a statement on do I think the negotiations will or won't go our way. Obviously, as an American, I hope they go our way. It would be crazy for me to root against our success as a country. Like, that would be actually like verifiably fucking insane. So I'm by no means like rooting for that. I'm just saying we don't know. So how is anyone possibly saying a W or an L when we literally do not know the results? That it just doesn't make sense. Don't have to be stronger to win. Tactics matter, but we obviously have better tactics as a military and a stronger military. Like I don't think people really understand that we are unmatched on a global scale. Unmatched on a global scale when it comes to our military. Well, Iran is literally making more money from charging tax in the U.S. It's not a tax, and is stating that they will help them rebuild. Yes, USA has a better military, but the backlash is something that obviously USA can't handle. Yeah, there's backlash, and once again, now we're getting into the nuances of how do you want to define victory or not, and I can understand that. Like, I suppose at a certain point, it's within the eye of the beholder of like what you're defining as a win or not. But from like the basic things, first of all, we don't know the negotiations. The negotiations are literally ongoing. So for anyone to say we won or lost the negotiations, my question is, what are you talking about when we don't know the results of the negotiations? And from a military standpoint, I do agree that just because you're stronger doesn't mean you have better tactics. But obviously, we have the most, clearly we have the most superior military, including tactics and strategy. There's no army or military in the world that comes even close to us. And if you think, oh my God, they gave us a run for our money, you're just dumb. That doesn't mean what we did was right or wrong, but I don't think the average person really fully comprehends what the U.S. military can do. You can't fix stupid. I guess so. I guess that's somewhat true. Man, they got Matt on the Trump train. How is that Trump train? See, I feel like every single day, either YouTube yells at me for supporting Trump or Rumble yells at me for being against Trump. And I guess that's when you know you're doing something right, is when you equivalently I don't know. I fucking hate this day and age where if I put out something credible that Trump has done wrong, you have Rumble chat who's like, oh my God, that's Trump derangement syndrome. How can you possibly say that? And then if I point out something credible that Trump has done right, you have YouTube saying, oh my God, he's so MAGA. Grow the fuck up. You guys, this, whatever social media and mainstream media and the tribalism of politics is currently doing to so many people's brains, grow the fuck up. If you are not mature enough, if you are not enough of an adult to be able to objectively point out good things done and bad things done, you honestly should not vote. You are too fucking stupid to vote. If you cannot deeply agree that Trump creating his own meme coin was fucking stupid, well, okay, maybe you're just sucking his dick a little bit too much. Now, on the flip side, if you cannot understand that the U.S. military is the strongest thing, that the Trump's trade war, the tariff war, has put the U.S. economy in a stronger position, well, objectively, you can't just read what's going on. That was objectively good things. But here we are. Here we are in the day and age where people are just so deeply sunken in their thoughts of I can't consume anything else. And I've never, maybe this has happened before, but if it has, not to my knowledge, whenever have we been in a situation where grown adults can like literally just not comprehend society, like, and the developments within society. Like, what is happening? Like, if you believe everything Trump has done is right and you support him, you are factually wrong. He has made missteps, clearly. Anyone with a room temperature IQ can see that. On the flip side, if you think everything Trump has done is wrong and he's like the devil, you're also wrong and stupid, because clearly he's done some good things. And if you're not living in that middle where you're like, hey, here's the list of things I agree with, hey, here's the list of things I disagree with, I don't know what you're doing. Like, you are just not consuming reality. And yet every single day, well, not every single day, but there are people in real time who yell at me. Like, I don't know a day that goes by that I'm not simultaneously accused of having Trump derangement syndrome and also being like hardcore MAGA. That's like my current like life right now, is depending on who you're talking to, I am equally accused of both. And I just, whatever, like everyone's like, you're entitled to your opinion, whether you want to think I have Trump derangement syndrome or whether you want to think I am MAGA. I don't really give a fuck. But what I find concerning is if you have such a low ability of discerning reality, I get concerned the fact that you're on this channel, because how are you possibly ever going to do well in trading? That's what I don't understand, is if you have such a low aptitude for discerning like objective reality, I don't understand how you would ever hope to think that like, oh, I can make it trading. Because in this world, trading is one of just the most emotionless, objective things you can possibly do. And it's just pure price action and the reaction to that and risk and reward. And if you are a person who's getting so spun up politically, I don't think you could be a successful trader. And whatever, like we all have different personality types, and that's not a knock on you. It's just maybe you want to find something else to do with your life. You are going to have a very tough time doing well in the market if you are extremely polarized in any political camp. The best traders I know, they like it's always like just Bayesian probabilities. It's always if-then statements. It's always that ability to live in the gray area of like, okay, maybe I'm right and maybe I'm wrong. And maybe a better way to say this is the best traders always know that there's a non-0% chance they're wrong, and most likely there's a 50% chance they're wrong, and they manage that accordingly. But then there's people such as the people accusing me of either being MAGA or Trump derangement syndrome, who you're so confident that you're living in that realm of, no, I am right and there's no way I could possibly be wrong, that you're just not going to be successful trading, because those two things, like, they're not cohesively together in the mind of a successful trader. So if you want to do that politically, hey, dude, whatever fucking like knocks your socks off, I don't give a shit. But if you cannot bring that mindset with you into the world of trading, because in the world of trading, it is the most humbling thing in the world where you're going to be wrong half the time, and you just have to get out. Matt has both sides syndrome, BSS, both sides syndrome. Maybe, dude. I have Trump derangement MAGA. I'm TMDASGA. Like I'm MAGA TDS, I guess, is what you could fairly. Yeah, I have both sides syndrome. Yeah, I'm non-binary. You heard it here first. Matt has a non-binary issue. You still have the long open? Yeah, duh. Bro, this is screaming bullish, brother. Look at that. You see how we are just going lower and lower and lower, lower and lower and lower, and we just made an intraday low? That's the definition of bullish, brother. I don't know if I've ever seen a more bullish setup. The way that this dagger is just slicing lower, it's the way in which the dagger cuts lower that you can tell how bullish it is. You see it, you see all those red candles on the chart? That's really bullish red. I know sometimes there's like bearish red, but you can tell from the like kind of the hue, the tint of the red that we currently have going on, that this is just, it's a trap, dude. It's a trap. If you flip it upside down, it's bullish. Honestly, it's even more bullish if you flip it upside down. I agree. I fully agree. It's even more bullish if you flip it upside down. Looks like we're about to make another intraday low. I don't know if things could get more bullish than that, dude. I've never seen a new intraday low that the bull camp didn't like. Hang on. Yeah, that's not looking so good. Yeah, the Mag 7's getting beaten up. The S&P 500, maybe the first higher low in the Delta flow. I'm seeing some signs of a little bit of call buying right now, starting at 1039. Not much, though. Like, you really have to kind of squint to be able to see that. But not as much call selling as we've seen throughout the day. Like, hang on, that one's an ugly view. We went from being range bound to a slight breakdown to just being range bound again. You sound like ICT when you're clearly waiting for a reversal that never comes. Well, I see the fair value gaps predicted it. Duh. It's all in the fair value gaps, folks. Do you prefer longing over shorting? No. As a trader, as a day trader, scalp trader, swing trader, if you're biased one way or the other, you're just literally missing out on half the opportunities. Like, once again, I mean, I guess in a certain way, this kind of circles back to the overall conversation we're having of that, like, to me, that's like still an emotional thing. Like, if you might have a system that does better longing or shorting, so maybe you want to cut one side out, maybe you want to double up on one side, but that's obviously being backed by math. So that's whatever. That's reasonable. That's smart. I completely understand that. But just to generically be like, I only go long, I only go short. Wait, what? Why? I mean, once again, that you're just in the realm of seemingly like an emotional decision where like it should almost be exclusively backed by math. All right, we are coming up on a very important level, right? Why? Right about... Oops, did not want to do that. Right about there. 25,000 flat. Right. We're at it right now. We're at it. Will buyers step in here? Well, they did on attempt number one. Where's Bookmap? Oh, sorry. There was Bookmap. Right there. You could see it. We broke this red zone at 26. Ran right down to where the sitting buyers were. And bada bing, bada boom. Bounced right off of it. Will it hold? I don't know. Does it align with another key level? Pretty much. It aligns right there with 50. So we dipped to 51 on SPX. A recapture of 63 is actually pretty bullish in my book. So I'm looking at this. I'm calling that, like, remember, sometimes this is where the art meets the science. You don't have to exactly hit levels, but once you get pretty freaking close. And then we're also looking at that alignment right here where, okay, clearly buyers stepped in at 25,000. Talk about key psychological levels. So you're seeing 750 on SPX. You're seeing 25,000 on NQ. If you're buying it closer, that's just good risk reward. If you're wrong, it's a small hit. You cut it right below. If you're right, you get to ride it all the way back up. That doesn't have to work probably even 1 in 5 times for you to be net profitable. Will it work this time? I have no idea. I'm just pointing out we're at a key level. I'm just pointing out we're at a key level. I can actively see buyers right there. Will there be follow through? Like I said, your guess is as good as mine. I have no clue. I'm just pointing out from an RR perspective, a risk to reward perspective, that was a pretty quality dip to buy, especially on the NASDAQ. You had to front run it a little bit on the S&P 500. And by the time you break out of 63, this recent shelf, that's when you get your stop to break even, and boom, you move on with your life. Even this now, we're even seeing a slight turn in oil. Obviously, that's slight. If it starts to come below 94.50, especially if it breaks below 94, I'd expect the market to be popping back up. Mag 7 still looking pretty brutal. NASDAQ looking pretty brutal. S&P 500 did hit, I guess, a low of the day, but then quickly popped. So more calls got sold, but then right here you can see people locked in some puts right there. Puts were getting bought, and then they got sold right at that dip to 750. Once again, this is all just commenting on what played out. It's not necessarily predictive of what's going to play out, because remember, you never know what's going to play out, which is why you just keep your risk in control. Passage of oil tankers via the Strait has been stopped, according to Kohrs. Okay. And I care much more about these key levels, and I want to see the market react to key levels rather than just trying to say, oh, this is important news. Folks, remember, that news was already known by Wall Street. If you think Wall Street is getting the news at the same time we're getting news, I have a bridge to sell you. That, like, the big players have already gotten that news. They've already traded from it. So for me to trade to it now, I'm already behind the ball. Just an update. Okay. When I'm illustrating the point, because obviously you and other people are clearly trying to fit political developments into your narrative of the day. And you might be right. I'm not saying that at all. I'm literally just pointing out the risk reward perspective of, we're at a key psychological level of 25,000 flat. Let me move that up one. We're at this key level of 750. If it breaks down, then you watch 735. Maybe here you watch a puke to maybe 100 points to, like, I don't know. This all happened so quickly. I mean, you could even talk about 808 or something like that. But first you'd have to look at that breakdown. So this idea of, like, you have to have this bias. No. I feel like at any point you should just be 50-50 and ask yourself, okay, like, who do you think's winning? That's it. Like, what's the risk reward? Right here we are testing 25,000 again. Let me throw up the 1 minute so you guys can see this. Clearly just trending down and down and down. If you took this short, this breakdown at 20, your risk was 40. That's not bad. Remember, your risk reward, a lot of it is going to be hyper dependent on your time frame. Right there, we just took out 25,000. I see quite a few sellers here at 30. So even on a bounce back up, just be careful. Ooh, people just came in at 23. I see a chunk of people trying to sell at 25,030. That might be an interesting level to pay attention to on a potential movement here. Right there. You see the buyers. Now, a small amount of buyers at 95. There were more buyers at 25,000 flat. I'm seeing some sellers at 23, and then I'm seeing a chunk of sellers at 30. Those buyers at 95 did not hold long, and now they either move down to 80 or that's a new group of buyers at 80. As it's breaking that level, as SPX is seemingly wanting to touch this right here. This positive gamma node at 6750. 6750. There's the 90. Sometimes it does matter, but market doing what it wants right now. The market always does what it wants. My point of, like, the you paying attention to the news is you don't know if your interpretation of the news is accurate. You might think it's accurate, and I hope for you it is accurate, but it's not like at the end of the trading day you get a report and says, oh, yeah, you know, your interpretation was right. Like, you don't know if it's right. So this idea of trying to put your political bias on top of it, it's just incredibly dangerous. It is far, far better to engage in the market without having a bias. And then, oh, look at that. Holy crap. Someone just came trying to sell a chunk right there. Oh, they pulled it. Did you guys see that for a second? Oh, they moved it. So it was at 715 for a little bit. We got really close and they decided to move it up to 735. Someone's trying to sell 700. That's a lot of NQ. That's a lot of NQ. Holy crap. 700 contracts. Before, when we were seeing the red, it was like 100 contracts. Someone is selling a chunk of size. But this is a good example of how it can quickly get moved. For a second, it was at 25.15, and it was just there enough to cause a bit of a reaction. And now it is, where are we at? It caused the reaction. Wow, a clear reaction. A clear reaction. And it's still sitting there. Still sitting there. Wow. Similar to good earnings lowering the stock. Oh yeah, I fully agree. How many times have we seen a good earnings report, like it beats on top and bottom line, for the stock to go down, or for the stock to have bad earnings, quote unquote bad, and then the stock gaps up? Like that's another, like, I think that's a pretty viable piece of I guess evidence there that like this idea of trying to interpret news and how that's going to go to the market. No, just spend, like, price is truth. Just go right to the market. You guys said you were worried. Like I said, it was evals. It was take profit evals. I told you I was kind of already done on the day. I was hoping for the bounce back. That didn't work too much, but it was the take profit evals. Like I said, my main trade was the short earlier today to get the approved payout, which I think I can actually do it. I mean, I made it very, very clear that my main trade of the day was right here. Look at that. Congratulations. You are eligible to withdraw $20,000. Congratulations. You are eligible to withdraw 20. Like, this was my goal of the day, folks. I made it so insanely clear what I was attempting to do. I have my 5 accounts, 20 grand, 20 grand, 20 grand. I actually thought it was 10 grand in total. I thought there was a cap, so I need to check how much I can actually withdraw on this one, because that's a lot of a bigger number. But I mean, folks, I made it like painfully clear to all of you that when I locked that 1,100 in, that was my goal. Like, just rewind this stream. I told you my main goal of the day. I hit it. I stopped trading those. From there, I was just like fucking off on evals. Like, I don't know, pretty apparent. But right there, like, this is the proof of way back earlier today. This was my goal, and I did it. And ever since then, we've just been having conversations, I guess, about it. And I was being degenerate with some of the evals, but whatever, evals are evals. I know not everyone trades like that, and maybe it's just because I'm in the position that I am. But when I trade evals, I guess you can safely say I trade them, quote unquote, degenerately, because I care more about time efficiency than I do about financial efficiency. You can go slow and have better odds of passing, and that's going to be financially efficient. But I just don't, I care about more speed of like, I'll just trade on evals, bigger size, a bit more degenerately, in the hopes of passing quickly. That's my goal with them, is like, I want to go quick. And I'm not saying that's appropriate for everyone. It's just what I do. In fact, I'm not saying you have to kind of look at your own financial situation. But folks, I spend a lot on evals, because I care a lot more about getting to the funded stage and then trading the funded stage as well as I can. So I like, once again, it's not appropriate for everyone, but you're looking at a guy. I've spent, in my course of trading sim to funded, I've spent multiple six figures on evals, but also that's why my payout is in the 7 figures. So it's just how it is. Once again, that's just how I choose to do it. I'm not saying you guys, and the way you can, like, I know at first those numbers seem crazy, but you have to understand, you snowball into it. Like, you do well on an eval, You get to funded. You get a payout on that funded. That funded account, you can then use that payout to get more evals. You do well on those evals, you get funded, you get payouts, and then it just continues to expand. So I would never recommend that someone comes in, I'm like, oh yeah, spend 20K in your first month. No. You prove it to yourself and you roll the snowball bigger and bigger and bigger. So if you're at the point, if you can't get a payout on a account, well, don't go to multiple accounts. Wait till you start getting, prove it to yourself that you can get those payouts and then go from there. That's how you want to do it. I see too many people rushing it far too early and saying, oh, I need all these accounts right away. No, you don't. No, you don't whatsoever. When I started with a couple evals on Apex. And then over the course of doing this for years, now I'll trade many accounts, but that's because I already have the profits from previous payouts to play it larger. So I know right now in social media that there's this pushback of people with a following spending whatever, 10, 20, 30K a month on evals, but there's a good way to do it and a bad way to do it. If you are doing it in a quote unquote good way, okay, you're doing it with previous payouts and a risk reward control. If you're doing it in a bad way, you have no proof of payouts. You're not playing with the house's money. You're just being a degenerate praying for a payout. So I would be very hesitant to judge someone on if they're doing something right or wrong exclusively based on how much money they're spending. I would want to see how much they're spending versus their payouts. That's the important thing, at least how I look at it. And whatever, we're all adults, I suppose. I guess you could all have your own opinion, but I see a lot of people maybe thinking they need to start big right away, and it's just not what you have to do. I would say intentionally start small, and then from there, grow it larger and larger as you prove to yourself you can get some payouts. It's already 11. All right, folks. I mean, like I said, it's kind of a quiet day for me. I got lucky and caught that short early today and was able to make the money that I needed. So after this, I'm going to go do another payout request. And guess what? I'm going to take that money. Some of it I save and put into whatever, a retirement account. And then I take some of the other money and I buy more evals. It's just this idea of rolling it larger and larger and larger. But you do that in a reasonable manner. You don't just do it degenerately out of the gate. So please be careful with that concept. In fact, actually, maybe if I see some opportunities this afternoon, maybe the Tradeifys I passed today, so they'll be funded. So maybe I do something with them. I don't know. I'm going to see how that plays out. Other than that, if you want to trade with me, Discord, GoonieTrading.com. And then obviously shout out to Apex if you want to trade. 90% off. Remember, you can start slow and steady. One account, 90% off. The eval will cost you what, $20-$30? You don't need to be spending money. And I hate that people out there put pressure on other people to start big right away. That's not what you need to do. That is not at all what, in fact, I would argue mathematically, you shouldn't be doing that. Start with an account and learn the ropes, learn the skills you need to be successful in this game. So anyway, shout out to Apex. Use that code Goonie. If you want to trade with me, do that. I'm going to go request money from FFN. And then from there, we'll be posting content later today. And then I'm going to be streaming tomorrow. Tomorrow, we do have some inflation. We have some GDP numbers. So maybe we'll start early tomorrow. And then we have even more stuff going on Friday. So whatever you choose today, hey, I wish you the best of luck. And I'll catch you guys on the flippity flip. Thanks for all the support. Peace.